My name is Stan Struble. I work at Metropolitan Community College. I've been here about 10 years. I've taught a whole variety of classes here. I'm in the Department of Social Sciences. Primarily teach sociology, anthropology, a wide variety of classes. I've taught the ethnic studies class. I believe it's called Multicultural Issues here. Introduction to Sociology, Introduction to Anthropology, courses on North American Indians, that sort of thing. So, and I've enjoyed it immensely. Well, I was doing a couple things. Primarily, I was at Boys Town, and I was there for about 28 years, doing a variety of things, mostly working with kids. My wife and I came back to. I'm actually a Boys Town graduate. I graduated from Boys Town back in 1968. I did a lot of different things, but I ended up back at Boys Town in '86 after my wife finished graduate school, and we were family teachers for about 4 years. Had a home full of girls, and after that, my wife went to work at Metro as an adjunct, and she's still with them. She's been doing it for well over 20 years. She teaches biology, microbiology, anatomy, physiology, stuff like that. But I worked in the aftercare department for a very long time. I worked as a common sense training parenting instructor for about 9 years. I was National Alumni Director at Boys Town for 5 years, and I kind of finished up everything there. For about 5 years, I did research and writing in the museum there. Boys Town has one of the best regional museums in the area here. Most people have never heard of it, not even aware of it. Put in a plug for it there, so that people want to go out there and take a peek at it. Well, it was kind of a series of events, which is usually what determines things sometimes. I actually got out of the community college and down in Hutchinson, and I wasn't sure at all that academics was for me. I'd always had to work, to put myself through school, work a lot, and I decided that I was going to go. I had some friends that were down in Louisiana working offshore, and they always had big money when they come back up to visit. And I was always up for an adventure, so I was one of those type guys. And so I jumped in my car and drove down there, and wow, was it really an adventure. It really was. I lived with a bunch of guys in a mobile home down on the Delta, just right next to the Mississippi levee. We could literally get out and walk up the levee. It took a while to get up, but it's big, and completely different people, culture, way of life, work, everything down there. And but after about a year of that, I thought maybe school wasn't so bad after all. And I decided, and there was this girl I thought I was in love with back in Manhattan, Kansas, and so I went back there, and of course that didn't work out. Those things don't. But I got into the school, and I tried majoring in a lot of different things, and I could never really find something I thought was a good fit. Like I said, I had a pretty interesting childhood. Would be a good way to state it. It would be a good way to understate it, and I can never really find the thing that really held what I thought were the answers to me, to what I wanted to pursue. And one thing led to another, and when I was in Manhattan there at Kansas State, I met a few professors, two in particular. It was a husband and wife. They were both PhD anthropologists, and who took an interest in me and challenged me a lot, my conventional thinking, and things, ideas and beliefs that I had acquired, that most people do when you're growing up, you get from your parents and stuff like that. And it kind of opened a whole new world to me. It really did. And I got excited about this particular branch of the social sciences and decided to pursue it. Well, I love, first of all, I do love teaching. I've always loved it. I think I interface pretty well with people. I've always liked young people. I left Boys Town in '68, and I always wanted to go back, and see the place. It's more like a home to me than anything else. It's the way it was in the old days there. And after my wife got out of graduate school, I was thinking about, maybe going back and getting my own PhD and doing the academic track. But we had acquired a new addition actually two new additions by that time to the family. They were very young. And we decided that I'd had many people tell me, boy, you'd be great at this. You need to go back to Boys Town, and give back. and stuff like that. And I just happened to come back. I was helping a friend move to Fargo. We were coming back through on a Sunday morning, and I hadn't been back. I left and never ever came back. And I've been gone 25 years, and there have been tremendous changes that have taken place at the home, and they were doing everything differently there, from the system interacting with the kids and stuff like that. One thing led to another, and the timing was right, and it gave me the opportunity to work with kids, and that's something that I'd always wanted to do. And when I had the opportunity, then been about 10 years ago, I started at Metro. Again, it's an opportunity to work with kids, and I'm one of those adults that are under the impression that kids need to know a lot of things, and they don't know any of them. And in particular, they need to know what I know. I know that doesn't sound very good, but it's one of the things that has empowered me and given me motivation to work with young people, is that I have something to give back, and that if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. So it's kind of turned into my life work. So,
what do you want students to take away from your classes?
The students to take away?
What do you want a student to take away?
I want students to leave my class not with just the knowledge that they learn in the book learning, and stuff like that, but I would like for them to acquire a new openness, a readiness to look around at the world and their own activities and other people's activities with a little bit more curiosity than they have before, and gain realizing that they can gain more understanding by that, and by understanding other people's motivations and how things work and how societies work and stuff like that. It adds a richness to your life, this understanding, than just going through the motions and saying if this is this and everything is black and white, because nothing in the world is black and white. It just isn't. And the social sciences, and in particular sociology and anthropology, I think provides the opportunity for young people to acquire this perspective and this new curiosity in their lives. Well, I would hope they would say something like, "Wasn't that a great class?" His jokes weren't as funny as he thought they were, probably. Yeah. And I would also hope that I got to say something to the effect of paraphrase, but I really got a lot out of that class, and I was able to use some of that stuff. Didn't think I would. It wasn't engineering. But I learned about all the other things surrounding engineering and the people in engineering and economics and the politics of engineering and in other countries and things like that. What's next? Well, some of it the same. When I started out teaching in Metro, I usually taught one class a quarter. And then every once in a while I teach a couple of classes a quarter. Now I'm doing 2 or 3 every quarter because I like teaching. I'm retired from Boys Town now, and it gives me time to pursue some other things, my writing, my teaching, and I'm able to spend more time on my classes and develop more material, do more research for the content and for my lectures, spend more time developing my lectures, because as all teachers know, presentation is really important in the classroom, and if you have good material, if you have good content, you do a good job presenting it, you're going to connect with your students. So I spend a lot more of my time doing that now than I ever have before. I still do some traveling. If my wife and I go to usually Mexico for a couple of weeks every year, I have a lot of friends down in Mexico, and we usually go to one of these resort things at first, and I leave my wife there, then I'm out of there. I head down to the highlands, down in the Lacandon or the Guadalajara or somewhere where I have friends, and spend time with them down there for about a week, and then I go back to the resort, and my daughter goes home, and my wife have the last week there together, so that's what we do. So, I've met a lot of interesting people, been in a lot of interesting situations, but my wife and I have a lot of interesting conversations, but one quote, there's millions, as you know, that always kind of stood out to me was that of Socrates, that the unexamined life isn't worth living. And I remember reading that when I was very, very young, and then I didn't read it again, I think, until I was an adult and I was going through some stuff. And that held a lot of meaning to me, because I was never one of those people who took the safe road. And when you do things that are outside the norm, when you challenge yourself sometimes in ways that other people don't, or because you're forced to, you can't help but have an unexamined life, because you have to ask yourself what your own motivations are. How did I get here, and then how am I going to handle this, and then certainly where am I going? And that's all part of the unexamined life, is trying to understand the cause and effect of one's self and your relationship with other people in your immediate family, and then in society as a whole. And I always thought that quote was very, very meaningful because of those reasons. My name is Stan Struble, and I am an anthropology, sociology instructor at Metropolitan Community College, Fort Omaha campus.